Hey guys, how's it going? It's Blaze, back with some more One Piece TCG content for y'all. It is now the day that pre-release is starting for OP17, and a lot of people have been cracking like early cases, early boxes over the past week or so, and we have started to see people getting their idea of the hit rates for some of the boxes and starting to see what some of the like pre-sale prices, early pre-sale prices, at least in the kind of hierarchy of the big hits for the set, is looking like. Now, these prices are definitely going to go down. They do not reflect what the actual market is going to look like after pre-release, but we can use them relatively to get an idea of the desirability of the cards and the hit rates. There is some information going around about the hit rates that seems like a bit misleading or incorrect, so I do want to tell y'all about some of that stuff and how some of these cards may be priced a little bit inaccurately compared to their actual rarity. Before we get into that though, got a shout out Binge Party TCG for sending over this awesome Luffy Oda Sig custom top loader binder. You can enter for a chance to win this binder. We're going to do a drawing at the start of next month, so all you got to do is like, comment, and subscribe to the channel and on this video to be entered into a chance to win this, as well as a OP16 Luffy alternate art. When this video goes out this weekend, Binge Party should be restocking a mini drop for some of their binders and stuff. Not sure if the Luffy is included, but if you want to go over there, check out their site. They're going to have the link in the description, and you can use my code BLAZE10 at checkout to save 10% on your order, as well as supporting the channel. All right, now let's get into it. Now, starting off, I will say for this video, I am going to be talking about the big hits of the set, the one per cases, one per multiple cases. I'm not going through all of the little alt arts and everything yet because those prices are so inflated compared to what I think they're actually going to settle at once people start, legitimately buying them for deck building and stuff, that I don't think it's really that worth covering all of it. I have done for my pre-release market stuff in the past, but the overinflation of them with this set, combined with the fact that TCG Player just doesn't even have any images uploaded for any of this stuff yet, makes me kind of want to shy away from them. And it's why I'm going to be going off the lowest eBay listings that I can find for a lot of the cards I am going to be showing, so that we do get an image of the card. Starting off, we got the Gold SP Luffy OP17, the anniversary for Emperors. Lowest listed right now on eBay that I could find. Maybe there's lower out there, maybe there's lower when this comes out, but lowest I could find right now is listed at 3K. I do think this is an example of a card where the hit rates are a little bit misleading on it. I myself thought that these gold anniversary SPs were going to be a lot more similar to something like the gold SP Luffy from the last anniversary, the gold Shanks SP, the gold Buggy SP, etc., with the last version of the four Emperors reprints with like the Teach, the gold and the silver variants, where these SPs are a lot harder to hit than a regular SP. It does not seem like that's the case here. So it does seem like these gold SPs here are just actually taking up a normal SP slot. Now, that does not mean, I think people have taken that to mean, oh, these are not more rare than the other SPs. We don't know that. We don't know that these are not more rare than the other SPs. So the rarity level of these cards, I think, is like somewhat undiscovered right now, because we know that we can have cases where both of the hits are these gold SPs, which lends you to think, okay, so they are just kind of regular SPs, they're not that rare. But we also have cases where there are no hits with the gold SPs at all, and 1-in-1 with the Haki style SPs, as well as the gold SPs, or as well as the Baki SP. I don't know if we've seen a Baki SP with the Kaido alternate art drawn by the Baki mangaka, as well as a gold SP. Both come out of the same case. I don't know if that's confirmed or not yet, but there is another thing that people have been saying, which is that the Baki SPs are like one in a case. I've seen some people thinking that they're like guaranteed. I don't believe that is the case either. In fact, I've watched whole case rips where there is no Baki SP hit. So I do think that's a little bit of misinformation. It does seem like the Baki SP people think it's less rare than it actually is. Based off that, take all that with a grain of salt. We don't have all the information, but I do think it is worth saying these prices on these gold SPs here are not necessarily reflective of their actual rarity, and people don't really know how rare they really are because we just haven't seen enough cases opened yet. But that being said, within the gold SPs and within the full SP pool of the set, we can pretty definitively say that this gold SP Luffy here, this is the top chase. This is the rarest one. This one is probably going to command the highest price, as we see here. If we go over the next one, we do have the Teach. Now, these were being listed for like around 2K for a while there. Lowest I can find now is 900. This seems like it's kind of coming back down towards what we actually know of like the rarity for these gold SPs, where they're not as rare as people thought they were when people first started hitting them. So they're coming down to reflect that. I could see this coming down a little more. I feel like this ends up being, you know, probably up there for an SP, probably like at least $500, I would expect. Just because it is a gold for Emperor's SP, and I that would kind of expect it to go up from there. But compared to like the Luffy, obviously a lot less value on this. And then we do have a similar thing here with the Shanks. Lowest I could find is 950 currently. I think this still has a bit of a way to come down, but maybe still staying higher than the Teach. We'll see. And then also the Buggy, kind of around that same range with the Teach, where it's like a little under 900, these other three, versus the 3K for the Luffy, right? So it really is just the Luffy is like the big mega hit. These are not all these gold SPs are not like all on that anniversary SP level of what we're used to with like gold and silver from previous sets. It does seem like, for example, even like a silver Buggy SP of the previous version is likely more rare than this gold SP from OP17, you know, anniversary gold version. Now after that, we do go over to the Haki SPs. The first one that we have as the lowest price here, I'm kind of going the opposite way this time. I went like highest price first, now it's lowest, is the Silver's Rayleigh here, going for about 300 bucks. So we do see the Haki SPs being, you know, significantly less than the gold SPs, but that might not necessarily actually reflect their rarity. So with these Haki SPs, there is a chance that these are being slightly undervalued, but it does seem like they are probably more common than the gold SPs. It's just not that dramatic. It's not as much. We got the Goldie Roger here, Haki SP, going for 500. I could see these still coming down a bit more, but I don't know. I think people kind of listed these a lot lower than the other ones, and it's not necessarily the case that they stay that way. This Zoro one, however, actually going for $1,000. So that's where we see the trend kind of stop, right? We got these other Haki SPs, going for significantly less than the gold SPs, but the Zoro Haki SP going for, more than technically any of these other gold SPs other than the Luffy, right? This is the only other SP that we see over 1K in the set so far. And I do think this art is obviously extremely cool. This is a really, really great SP here. So we are seeing, not all the Haki SPs are being rated under the gold SPs so far necessarily. After that, we do have the Odin going for about 750 right now. This is an interesting one. I think this card seems really, really nice looking, but I struggle to see it staying up here at 750 just for Odin, just like because of the character. I don't think it's as popular of a character if you have someone like Roger going for 500, and then I go over here to like the Yamato also going for about 500. I kind of feel like the Odin should be a little more in line with those two, right? Like that seems reasonable. Really cool art, but honestly, I do think the Yamato one's a little cooler. I kind of like how Yamato is just like absolutely just like mogging the hell out of the camera here, staring right at us. So that's hella aura there. And yeah, the foiling on these Haki SPs, this like rainbow Haki foiling, does look really, really cool. Hopefully I hit one of these or a gold SP when I get my boxes later, because I can't wait to see these in person. I bet they look fantastic. I think these Haki SPs are actually really kind of being underrated here with how sick they look. Even just with the pictures that we're seeing, like the way that they do the text and everything, looks awesome. We got the Garp here going for 400. This one honestly might be a little high. Like I could see Garp going down to like 300, 250, somewhere around there, just because like it's Garp, you know, not to like hate on Garp, but it's Garp. So yeah, we'll see about that. And then as far as the SPs go, the final one here, this is the lowest listed that I could find for this SP, and it is the Baki Kaido by guest artist Keisuke Itagaki, who is the creator of Baki. I have not read Baki. I started the first volume, but I'm not like into the series. But I think this is a really, really cool SP. I think for Kaido, this is awesome. And I kind of think, now when I say it's underrated, I'm not saying it's underrated as in I think this price is too low and it will go up. I'm saying it's underrated in relation to where it sits, like within the hierarchy of the other SPs. I feel like this is more rare than a lot of the Haki SPs by a significant amount. I watched several case rips and it doesn't seem like these drop as often as people seem to think they do. But that being said, again, we don't have enough data to like really make definitive conclusions about that. It's sitting around here. This is purely my speculation, but I do feel like this card is going to hold a bit more value just because it's a unique like one of one slot out of all the SPs. Like you have the Haki SPs, you have the gold SPs. It's a 1 of 4, or it's a 1 of 6 for the Haki SPs, but this is a 1 of 1. So it's a little harder to hit like its category that it exists within, because its category that exists within, as far as the SPs go, is just itself, right? So that does kind of like inherently, it doesn't make the card rarer, because obviously those other ones exist as one of in that set, but it does make it has a unique appeal to it that you can't like go and get for a cheaper variant within the same style, which I do think actually does affect the value of these cards over time a little more than people realize when it comes to the like categories of SP. Also why I think some of the OP17 SPs are actually still being slept on, because those portrait style SPs are a style that's actually pretty rare within the overall card pool of SPs in general. Now moving over to the mangas, I know people don't like this manga Shanks that much. People don't like the fact that he's facing away. I think they're crazy. I think this is the best manga Shanks we've ever gotten, actually, like by far. It's so mysterious, you know. He's not the smiling straight at the camera Shanks. I don't like that one as much. This represents the character much better to me, and it's got, you know, the divine departure there, obviously. It's got him using the Conqueror's Haki with the eye. It's just cool manga here. I seen it go for 2,800, lowest listed. It does seem like, from just what I've looked at so far and what the hit rates I've seen are, the mangas do seem pretty rare in this set. And the fact that it's out of 4 mangas, I think does mean that they're going to retain a little more value than they would otherwise, because I don't think the designs are all the best. I think this is the best one of the 4. I know a lot of people really disagree with that, but I do think this is the best one of the 4. But just the fact that they are an out of 4 slot manga, I do think means that they're going to retain their price. This being the most expensive, or one of the most expensive Shanks mangas, actually I think this is the most at this price. I don't think that'll stick. I think the set's still too new. But I do think people are underrating this card, and I think people are really underrating the value of mangas in OP17 honestly, in general, with the way I've heard a lot of discourse around them. Next up, we do have the Kaido. This one to me is a huge disappointment. I mean, you can't even see anything behind him. There's like, it's almost not a manga. There's 2 panels barely halfway visible. Yeah, this one I think is disappointing. 2K, lowest listed that I could find. I feel like this one has to drop just because it is probably one of the weakest ones, if not the weakest of the set. But that could be counterbalanced by if people play the Kaido deck a lot, if it becomes more popular. And it has been getting more and more popular as we kind of start to see results from early OP17 meta stuff. The ultra flexers who want to have like their deck all the way manga'd out and everything may go hard on these and potentially kind of keep the price a little higher than they would be otherwise, combined with it being a 1 hit out of 4. Now here we have the Linlin Big Mom manga. I think this one is probably the other best one in the set just because it's the scary Big Mom face up in the left. I love that. She's like crazy looking on here. Just very, wild. I do think it's a cool manga for Big Mom. I think this is like a cool direction for it. I don't love the piece of art that they chose to use here, but it's fine, and I think the panels lifted a lot. Like, I bet in person this actually looks a lot cooler than you think it does. 3,500 does seem high, but I think you can definitely make the case that like this is probably one of the more desirable mangas out of the bunch. Currently, this is the one that's going for the most at 3,500. I suspect this obviously is going to drop because it's pre-sale, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, that's where it's at right now. And then we do have the Newgate manga here. I think this is the other kind of weaker one. I do think it's better than the Kaido though. I think this kind of like upward angled shot that allows there to be a little more room up at the top of the card. So even though it's still like only half as many manga panels as you would expect to have on a manga where it's only at the top, at least you can fully see these two at the top, and you can see a word bubble on this one and a little bit of this one over here. I do think this is better than the Kaido, but I do think it's probably on the weaker end of these. This 3,500 feels way too much. I would think that this one would probably be down towards like 2K. And I'm still going off only relationally to the other ones based off these pre-sale prices. I expect this one drops a lot, but yeah. And then we do have the brand new, the crazy, super, super rare hit of the set for mangas, that being the new manga leader here. Lowest listed gone for 6K. I saw people trying to get like 10K for it. These are one in many, many cases. I mean, like maybe, probably double digits. I don't want to say more than that, but like probably one in a double digit number of cases overall. These seem to be extremely hard to hit. And yeah, it's it's a cool card. I don't know that I think this art really demands the price that's going for it, but the rarity is definitely very high. I do feel like that's been pretty confirmed, so I guess it will probably stay high just off that, and the fact that it's a manga leader, and right now it is the only manga leader. However, if that were to change, I could see potentially the price on this somewhat coming down. But that being said, definitely a big one to look out for. I suspect this price drops a little bit, but at some point it's probably going to be back up here. And then we do also have the platinum or diamond Dawn card here. That is the like rarer version of the gold Dawn hit. And this one does seem to be pretty rare. It is definitely not guaranteed in a case. We have seen plenty of cases open without these where it takes the slot of the gold Dawn. That being said, I don't think it's that rare compared to a gold Dawn, because it is kind of just like a slight upgrade to the gold Dawn. And we've seen that these gold Dawn end up not going for a whole lot. So I expect that this Dawn card for the platinum version or whatever, or diamond or whatever you want to call it, is probably not going to go for as much as even what we're seeing here at like 275. I could see this being like 150 or something. I don't think a ton of people are going to be looking for these. And then at the top of the pile here, we do have the Rocks Pirate Crew Rare Secret going for 8K. This is a sold item here, so somebody did already pay this. We do have a confirmed 8K here. This also seems like it's in, you know, a double-digit number of cases as far as the hit rate goes. We've seen a couple of them, not that many. But then the Luffy, yeah, with the Luffy, it's so rare. It's such a low hit rate. We don't even have any sales information on them. It's just 100K or best offer. So we really don't know what these are selling for right now, or at least if there's sold items on this, I couldn't find them. Let me know down in the comments if we actually do know how much these are going for, but they seem to be just absolutely insanely rare. I don't want to speculate on the case hit amount for it, but it's probably multiples of 10. Yeah, this card is going to command an insane amount. Obviously, it's the very, 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 very top chase of the set, and it's kind of like a seller sets the baseline sort of situation here. We sort of don't really know how rare this is or how much it's worth, and there are people out there trying to like give rough stats, but I do think we gotta take a lot of those people with a grain of salt, because those are the people that have the cards that want to set the precedent of it being as rare as humanly possible, because it is a seller's market and those people are the sellers. So until we get more information about this card, it's pretty much a mystery, and I think you guys should be pretty careful and pretty skeptical of people trying to say super like hard set information until probably like next week, when we've seen enough cases get opened in enough stores that we really have like a more accurate idea of what the numbers actually look like. All right, guys. Well, that's it for me today. I hope you all have a very enjoyable OP17 pre-release weekend. Get out there, win you some Lego Luffy Dons, buy yourself some boxes at MSRP, hit some SPs, hit some mangas, and have a great time. If you have any thoughts, opinions, concerns, anything that I was wrong on, feel free to let me know down in the comments below. And then again, we will be doing the giveaway for that binder at the start of next month. So appreciate all y'all, and until next time, peace.